Pastor Blanche again. This time we're staying inside because it's really cold. It's cold outside and it's really breezy. We're going to talk about the word church. Church means all the people that come and sit in the pews. And that means you and your mommy and your daddy and grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and just friends. That's all church. And in that church, you find love and forgiveness and grace. I'm sorry, Penny, our dog, is running around and I'm afraid she's going to overturn the camera. So remember, church is people. And that makes it so much special because you're there with them. Pretty soon we'll be able to get back together and we'll be able to be church again. And we'll be together as a church family. As always, I have a story for you. It's out of this book and it's entitled The Happy Girl. Mary Magdalene thought her heart might burst with joy as she ran through the streets of Jerusalem. It was early in the morning, but the whole world was awake. Every bird singing high in the treetops and every flower dancing in the wind seemed to know that this was no ordinary day. The disciples would never believe what just happened. Mary could hardly believe it herself. Could it really be true that she had just been talking to Jesus? Everyone knew he died 3 days earlier. Everyone saw him hanging on that cruel cross with those nails through his hands and his feet. Everyone knew his body had been carried away to that quiet tomb on a hillside. But only Mary knew the cave was now empty. Jesus was alive. He had spoken to her, and when he called her name and reached out with his arms in love, Mary's fears flew away. Jesus was alive, and his perfect, precious love was all that she needed. That's all we need, too. Mary picked up her skirt and ran without stopping until she reached the little house where the disciples were hiding in the upstairs room. She took the stairs 2 at a time and burst through the doors. Out of breath, her eyes were shining with tears. Mary shouted out her unbelievable news. "I have seen the Lord." They were the greatest words the world could ever hear. The cave was empty, and Mary's hearts were filled. Now, here is the letter from God. He says, "Dear children," can you imagine how Mary felt that morning? Only 3 days earlier, the unthinkable happened. Jesus had died. Mary's heart had been full of fear. But on that glorious morning, Jesus filled her heart with his perfect, precious love. He wants to fill your heart too. Jesus is reaching out to you. Hear him calling your name? You are his precious daughter or son. Put your hands in his. Let Jesus take you into his arms. He will hold you with his perfect love and never, ever let you go. I love you, God. How about a prayer? And then we'll wrap up and we'll see you next week. Dear God, thank you for these children. Let them learn of the perfect love Jesus has for them. Amen. Bye. See you next week.